Chapter 1. 2 years had passed since Luna Cynthia Sunwing placed the crown of creation upon her brow, yet some mornings it still felt heavier than the mountains themselves. She stood before the grand mirror in her chambers, studying her reflection. Silver hair cascaded down her back like liquid moonlight. Her green eyes, inherited from her mother, held depths of wisdom that startled even herself. At 19, she was the youngest ruler in the history of the 9 kingdoms, and every day reminded her of that fact. "Your Majesty, the council awaits," her handmaiden Sarah whispered, a fairy who had served her mother and now served her. Luna took a breath, straightened her spine, and touched the crown. It pulsed with warmth, a good sign. When hearts were pure and unity strong, it glowed. When discord threatened, it dimmed. Lately, it had been flickering. The council chamber was already filled when she arrived. Her 8 brothers stood at attention, each now a king in his own right, married to princesses from the allied kingdoms. Aiden, the eldest, gave her an encouraging nod. Beside them sat her father, Emperor Valerius, still as golden and formidable as ever, though his eyes now carried only warmth when they looked at her. Her mother, Empress Lilybell, smiled gently from her seat. And there, among the dukes and ministers, sat Ryu Blaze Arad, his distinctive green dragon scales marking him as a member of one of the most ancient royal dragon lineages. Their eyes met for the briefest moment, and Luna felt her heart skip. 2 years of working alongside him in council, 2 years of heated debates and shared laughter, 2 years of pretending the electricity between them was merely professional respect. "Your Majesty," Lord Castor, the elderly Minister of Treasury, began with barely concealed condescension, "we must discuss the grain shortage in the Basilisk territories. Your decision last month to redirect supplies to the mermaid coastal villages has left the Basilisk granaries at 70% capacity, which is well above the minimum requirement. The mermaid villages were facing starvation after the tsunami. Would you have me let children die to maintain surplus, Lord Castor?" The old minister's face reddened. "Your Majesty is young. Sometimes mercy must be tempered with what? Cruelty?" Luna's voice was soft, but carried the weight of finality. "My grandfather learned that lesson the hard way. I will not repeat his mistakes." Valerius coughed to hide a smile. Lilybell's eyes sparkled with pride. "The Empress is correct," Ryu spoke up, his deep voice cutting through the tension. "The mermaid villages have already resumed fishing. Their tribute this quarter will replenish the Basilisk stores with interest. Her Majesty's decision was both compassionate and economically sound." Luna's heart warmed at his support, though she kept her expression neutral. "Thank you, Duke Arid. Now, let us discuss the reports from the border patrols. Zephyra, what have your scouts found?" Her 6th brother stood, his sharp eyes serious. "That's what concerns us, Your Majesty. 3 patrols have gone missing near the Obsidian Wastes in the past month. No bodies, no signs of struggle, just gone." A chill ran through the chamber. "The Obsidian Wastes?" Ember frowned. "Nothing lives there. It's been dead land since before the 9 kingdoms were founded." "Exactly," Zephyra said grimly, "which makes these disappearances all the more troubling." Luna leaned forward, her mind racing through everything she had studied. The Obsidian Wastes, a massive stretch of blackened earth and twisted rock at the northernmost border of the kingdoms. According to ancient texts, even the god of creation had avoided that place, sealing it away with divine barriers. "What do the barriers look like?" she asked suddenly. "The barriers?" Zephyra blinked. "The divine seals around the wastes. Father, you've flown over them, haven't you? Valerius nodded slowly, understanding dawning in his eyes. I have. And now that you mention it, the last time I surveyed that region, 6 months ago, the light of the barriers seemed dimmer. Impossible, Lord Castor scoffed. Divine seals don't fade, they're eternal. Nothing is eternal except God himself, Lilybell said quietly, her gentle voice somehow carrying more authority than any shout. Luna, what are you thinking? Luna stood and walked to the great map on the wall. Her finger traced the border of the obsidian wastes. What if something inside is waking up? Something that was sealed away before the 9 kingdoms even existed? The room fell silent. That's ridiculous, Lord Castor sputtered. Your Majesty, with respect, you've been reading too many children's tales. My daughter doesn't read children's tales, Valerius said coldly. She reads ancient texts that you couldn't comprehend if you had 3 lifetimes. Luna, continue. Luna's heart swelled with gratitude, but she kept her focus. I need to go there, see it myself. Absolutely not, all 8 of her brothers said in unison. You're the Empress, Aiden said firmly. You can't just fly into a known danger. Then who will? You? And leave your kingdoms unguarded? Father? Mother would never forgive me if something happened to you. I'll go, Ryu said, stepping forward. With your Majesty's permission, I can lead a reconnaissance team. Duke Arad lands border of the wastes. This is partly my responsibility. Luna wanted to protest. The thought of Ryu in danger made her chest tighten, but he was right. It was the logical choice. Very well, she said, though her heart clenched at the thought of it. Rogel, you will accompany Duke Arad. Your eye of memory must record everything. But brother, her voice softened, your safety is paramount. If there is any danger, you retreat immediately. That is an imperial command. Her youngest brother bowed respectfully. As you command, Your Majesty. Though I promise to ensure Duke Arad returns safely as well. He is valuable to the Empire. Ryu bowed deeply to both Luna and Rayagel. Your Highness, I am honored by your protection. I will follow your lead in all things. As the council dispersed, Ryu lingered. When they were alone in the corridor, he stepped closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. You're worried. It wasn't a question. Luna sighed, letting her guard down for just a moment. Of course I'm worried. Something is wrong, Ryu. I can feel it. The crown has been flickering, and now this. We'll figure it out, he said gently. We always do. We? Luna raised her eyebrow, a small smile tugging at her lips despite her worry. Ryu's ears turned red. I meant the council, obviously. Obviously, Luna echoed, her smile growing. They stood there, the air between them charged with everything they weren't saying. Finally, Ryu bowed, deeper than protocol required, and left. Luna touched her chest, feeling her heart race. 2 years of this delicious torture. 2 years of wondering if he felt the same magnetic pull she did. He loves you, you know. Luna jumped. Her mother had appeared silently beside her, that knowing smile on her face. Mother! Don't sneak up on me like that. He looks at you the way your father looks at me, like you're the sun and moon and stars all at once. It's professional. We work well together. Mm-hmm. Lilybell's eyes twinkled. Just like your father and I worked well together before he built me an entire enchanted garden. Luna felt her face heat. That's different. Is it? Lilybell kissed her daughter's forehead. Be careful, my moonlight, but not too careful. Some risks are worth taking. As her mother glided away, Luna touched her crown of creation. It pulsed, warm and bright. Even with darkness stirring at the borders, even with the weight of 9 kingdoms on her shoulders, in that moment, Luna felt hope. She just didn't know how soon that hope would be tested. Chapter 2. Shadow's Awakening. Ryu Blaze Arid had faced battle-hardened warriors, political intrigue, and even a territorial dispute with an angry Griffin clan, but nothing had prepared him for 3 days in the Obsidian Wastes. The land itself felt wrong. Black stones stretched in jagged formations like frozen screams. No plants grew here, no animals ventured close. Even the air tasted of ash and something else. Something ancient and malevolent. Ryago flew beside him in dragon form, his golden scales looking dull against the oppressive darkness. Behind them, a squad of the Empire's finest soldiers trudged forward, their faces grim. "There," Ryagal said, his voice echoing in Ryu's mind through their mental link. "The barrier." Ahead was a shimmering wall of divine light rose from earth to sky. But Ryagal was right. It was dimmer than it should be, and worse, cracks spider-webbed across its surface like a broken mirror. Ryu dismounted, approaching carefully. He could feel power radiating from the barrier, but it pulsed erratically, like a dying heartbeat. "Your Highness, please record everything," he told Ryagal, who nodded and activated his eye of memory, his pupils glowing silver as they captured every detail. That's when they heard it. A voice. Low, seductive, ancient. "Finally, visitors. How long has it been?" The soldiers drew their weapons. Ryu's hand went to his sword. "Who speaks?" he demanded. Laughter echoed across the wasteland, coming from everywhere and nowhere. "Who speaks? Who speaks? I am Noctifer, first of the Shadow Kings, Lord of the Void, he who was before light." The barrier pulsed violently, and for a moment Ryu saw something through the cracks. A massive figure, tall as a mountain made of living darkness, with eyes like dying stars. "The seals weaken. The child Empress's light cannot hold me. Soon I will be free, and when I am, this world of pathetic beast gods and their mewling children will bow before true power." "The Empress's light is stronger than you know," Ryu said, his voice steady but still his heart racing. "More brave words, little Duke." "But tell me, does she know? Does she know what she truly is? Does she know why the god of creation gave her that precious crown?" "What are you talking about?" "Oh, how delicious. They kept it secret. The crown of creation is not a gift, little Duke. It is a key. And when I break free, I will take it from her pretty silver head and use it to unmake everything." The barrier flared, then cracked wider. Dark tendrils began seeping through. "Fall back!" Ryu shouted. "Now!" They ran. Behind them, the voice of Noctifer laughed and laughed, the sound chasing them across the wasteland. It wasn't until they were miles away, back in the safety of Arad territory, that they stopped to catch their breath. "Your Highness, did you get everything?" Ryu asked Ryagal. Every word, every image. Ryagal's face was pale. "Ryu, if what that thing said is true, then Empress Luna is in more danger than we thought." Ryu looked towards the capital where Luna waited, his chest tightened with fear, not for himself, but for her. "We need to get back, now." Chapter 3. Divine Revelations. The Temple of Creation stood at the heart of the dragon capital, a magnificent structure of white marble and gold that seemed to glow with inner light. Luna had been here many times for ceremonies and prayers, but never to demand answers from the gods themselves. She walked the sacred halls with Ryu at her side, her 8 brothers flanking them, her parents following close behind. They were dressed not in ceremonial robes, but in battle armor, a statement that they would not be dismissed or placated with half-truths. The high priestess, an ancient phoenix woman named Pyra, who had served the temple for 3 centuries, met them at the entrance to the Hall of Divine Prayers. "Your Majesty," Pyra bowed, her eyes knowing, "the gods have been expecting you." "Have they?" Luna's voice was cool. "How convenient, given that they've been keeping rather large secrets." Pyra's expression didn't change. "All will be revealed, Empress. But be warned, divine truth is not always comfortable." The Hall of Divine Prayers was a circular chamber with a domed ceiling painted with stars. In the center stood 9 pedestals, each representing one of the beast gods, and above them all a throne of pure light for the god of creation. Luna stepped into the center of the circle. "I, Luna Cynthia Sunwing, Empress of the 9 kingdoms, bearer of the crown of creation, demand audience with the divine ones." Her voice echoed, and the crown upon her head blazed with brilliant silver light. The air shimmered. One by one, the beast gods appeared, not in their full divine forms, but as translucent figures of light. The dragon god, magnificent with scales of gold. The dragonfly god, whose wings scattered rainbow light. The phoenix, wreathed in eternal flame. All 9 gathered, and finally, above them all, the god of creation manifested. His form was ever shifting, sometimes a figure of light, sometimes a constellation of stars, sometimes simply a presence too vast to comprehend. When he spoke, his voice resonated in their bones. "We hear you, Luna Cynthia Sunwing. Speak your questions." "Is it true?" Luna demanded, her fear transmuted into anger. "Is the crown of creation a key? Did you give it to me knowing that the Shadow King would come for it?" Silence. Heavy and oppressive. Then the dragon god spoke, his voice filled with sorrow. "Yes, it is true." Valerius staggered, as if struck. "Father, you knew?" "We all knew," the dragonfly god said gently, her voice like 1,000 wings. "We have always known." "Then why?" Luna felt tears of rage and betrayal burning her eyes. "Why give it to me if it puts everyone in danger?" The god of creation's presence grew, filling the chamber with overwhelming power, yet his voice was gentle, almost sad. "Because, precious child, you are not merely the bearer of the crown. You are its purpose, its reason for existing." "I don't understand," Luna whispered. "Long before the 9 kingdoms existed, before the beast gods walked the earth, there was another civilization, the Shadow Realm, ruled by the Shadow Kings. They were my first creations, beings of immense power, given free will to choose their path. They chose darkness. They rejected light, love, unity, everything I offered them. They sought only power, conquest, and domination. And so I was forced to seal them away, deep beneath the earth, in a prison of divine light. But such seals do not last forever. Every 1,000 years they weaken. And when they weaken, the Shadow Kings stir. They send their corruption into the world above, trying to break free." I feel cold dread seeping into my bones. How many times have they tried before? 17, the god of creation said. 17 times they have nearly broken free, and 17 times a champion has risen to renew the seals and bind them once more. The crown, Ryu said suddenly, understanding dawning on his face. The crown is the tool that renews the seals. The crown of creation is the key, yes, but it is also the luck, the bond, the unbreakable link between my power and the mortal realm. But such power cannot be wielded by just anyone. It requires a soul of perfect unity, someone who embodies not pride, not conquest, but harmony itself. That is why Luna was born, why the prophecy spoke of a daughter who would unite the kingdoms, why her parents' love, born from humility and sacrifice, created her. She is the 18th champion. But I'm just me. I make mistakes. I doubt myself. How can I be anyone's champion? Lilybell stepped forward, tears streaming down her face. Because those doubts make you wise, those mistakes make you learn. You're not perfect, my moonlight, but you're real, and that's what makes you strong. Your mother speaks truth, the dragon god said, looking at Luna with pride that made Valerius's heart ache with recognition. The previous 17 champions were all warriors, conquerors, generals. They were strong, yes, but they were also rigid, unyielding. And each time, Noctifer learned a little more about how to break them. But you, the dragon god continued, looking at Luna with pride that made Valerius's heart ache with recognition, are something new. You lead with compassion. You rule with love. You unite through understanding, not force. This is why Noctifer fears you, because you are everything he can never understand. Luna took a shaky breath. What do I have to do? You must go into the obsidian wastes, the god of creation said. You must face Noctifer, and you must use the crown to renew the seals before he breaks free entirely. She's not going alone, Ryu said firmly. No, she is not, the god agreed. The champion has always had companions. 8 guardians, one from each allied kingdom, to represent the unity that gives the crown its power. Luna looked at her brothers, who all nodded without hesitation. And a 9th, the god continued, his presence somehow seeming to smile. A champion of her heart, one whose love gives her strength beyond measure. A dragon of emerald scales, whose lineage is as ancient as your own. Everyone looked at Ryu. Though his cheeks burned, he held Luna's gaze. Only if Her Majesty wills it, he murmured. Luna felt warmth flood through her despite the terror of what lay ahead. Always. Then prepare yourselves, the god of creation said. You have 1 month before the seals break completely. 1 month to train, to prepare, to strengthen the bonds that will carry you through the darkness. But know this, Luna Cynthia Sunwing, Noctifer will try to break you, not with strength, but with doubt, with fear, with the weight of your own perceived inadequacies. He will show you every mistake, every failure, every moment of weakness. 1 month, the god of creation said. Use it well, my children, for when you face the Shadow King, you will face not just his darkness, but your own. Only by conquering both can you prevail. The divine presence faded, leaving them alone in the hall of prayers. But how do I fight that? Luna asked. By remembering who you are, Lilybell said, stepping forward and taking her daughter's hands. By remembering that you are loved, that you are not alone, that your strength comes not from being perfect, but from being perfectly you. Valerius joined them, placing his hand on Luna's shoulder. We didn't just survive our trials, Luna. We learned from them. And that knowledge, that wisdom, born from pain and love, that's what we've passed to you. One by one, her brothers stepped forward, creating a circle around her. We're with you, Aiden said. To the end, Ember added. And beyond, Kieran finished. Ryu clasped her hand with quiet reverence. No matter what fate brings, Your Majesty, we'll face it together. Luna looked at them all, her family, her guardians, her love, and felt the crown of creation pulse with pure, brilliant light. She was terrified, but she wasn't alone. And sometimes, that made all the difference. Well, Elliot said into the silence, trying for his usual humor. At least we have a plan. A terrifying plan, Shenron muttered. But a plan nonetheless, Luna said, her voice growing stronger. 1 month. We train, we prepare, and we show this Shadow King what happens when you threaten the 9 kingdoms. She looked at each of them, her family, her friends, her future. Let's get to work. Chapter 4. A Month of Steel and Heart. The training grounds of the Dragon Palace had never seen such intensity. For 4 weeks, Luna and her companions pushed themselves beyond their limits. Each dawn broke with the clash of steel, the roar of dragonfire, and the focused determination of warriors preparing for the battle of their lives. Luna quickly learned that her intelligence and political acumen, while valuable, were not enough against an enemy older than time itself. She needed to be a warrior, too. Again! Aiden shouted as Luna picked herself up from the dirt for the 20th time that morning. Her eldest brother was relentless in his training, and for good reason. His blessing, the Shield of Dawn, made him the greatest defensive fighter in the 9 kingdoms. If anyone could teach Luna to protect herself, it was him. Luna raised her sword, specially forged from a mixture of silver and stardust, light enough for her build, but strong enough to channel her divine power, and attacked again. This time, she anticipated Aiden's counter, ducked under his swing, and managed to land a blow on his side. Good, Aiden grinned. You're learning. Remember, Luna, you're faster than most opponents will expect. Use that. From the sidelines, Ryu watched with a mixture of pride and anxiety. For the past 2 weeks, he'd been training alongside her, but in the evenings, they'd found something else entirely. You're holding your breath every time she takes a hit. Seraphina's smile was knowing. Trust me, I did the same when I first watched Aiden train, but Luna's tougher than she looks. I know she is, Ryu said quietly. That's not what worries me. Then what does? That she'll sacrifice herself if she thinks it will save everyone else. That's the kind of person she is. Seraphina's expression softened. Then make sure she doesn't have to. That's what you're there for, to remind her she has something worth living for. Over the past month, Luna had grown close to all her sisters-in-law. They'd welcomed her not as their empress, but as their sister. And that bond had become one of Luna's greatest sources of strength. Seraphina, bold and fierce, taught Luna how to stand her ground and never apologize for taking up space. Yuki, Ember's wife from the Fox Kingdom, was sly and clever, teaching Luna the art of reading opponents not just in battle, but in negotiation and strategy. Thalia, Kieran's brilliant Phoenix wife, helped Luna understand the theoretical aspects of divine magic and how the crown's power could be channeled. Marina, Shenron's mermaid bride, taught Luna how to center herself, to find calm in the midst of chaos through meditation and breathing. Zara, Valkyrion's basilisk spouse, sharp and strategic, drilled Luna in tactics and war games, helping her think 3 steps ahead. Celeste, Zephyra's hippogriff mate, wild and untamed, showed Luna how to embrace her instincts and trust her gut. Arion, Elliot's griffin bride, fierce and proud, taught Luna that vulnerability wasn't weakness, but courage. And Lyra, Rhaegal's dragon wife from a distant province, gentle despite her power, reminded Luna that strength could be quiet. Together, they formed a circle of support that Luna had never imagined possible. They gathered each evening in what they called the Sisters' Council, sharing fears and hopes, laughter and tears. "Do you love him?" Marina asked one evening as they sat in Luna's garden, surrounded by glowing jasmine and fireflies. Luna didn't need to ask who she meant. "Is it that obvious?" "Painfully," Yuki said with a grin. "You both moon over each other when you think no one's looking." "We do not moon," Luna protested weakly. 8 knowing smiles greeted her protest. "All right, fine," Luna conceded, her face heating. "Yes, I love him. I think I have for a while now." "Then why haven't you told him?" Serafina asked. "Because—" Luna struggled for words. "What if something happens to me? What if I don't come back? I don't want to leave him with the knowledge that he was loved," Talia interrupted gently. "Luna, love isn't something to be hoarded against tragedy. It's something to be given freely, especially when time is precious. Your mother and father nearly lost each other completely, but they found their way back, and they didn't waste a single moment once they did." The next morning, Luna woke to find a note slipped under her door. "Meet me in the Queen's Haven at sunset. We need to talk. R." Her heart raced. This was it. Whatever happened next, whatever they had to face, she wanted him to know, needed him to know. When the sun began its descent, painting the sky in golds and pinks, Luna made her way to her mother's enchanted garden. The flowers glowed softly in the twilight. Fairies danced between branches, and the air smelled of jasmine and possibility. Ryu stood by the crystal fountain, dressed but elegantly, his dark hair catching the last rays of sunlight. When he saw her, his expression shifted from nervous to awed. "You're beautiful," he said, the words escaping before he could stop them. Luna had chosen a simple silver gown, her hair flowing loose down her back, the crown of creation left behind for once. "Thank you." They stood there, awkward and tense, until they both started laughing. "This is ridiculous," Luna said. "We've worked together for 2 years. Why is this so hard?" "Because it matters," Ryu said simply. He took her hands. "Luna, I need to say this before we leave, before we face whatever's waiting for us in the wastes. Ryu, please, let me." He took a breath. "I've loved you since the first council meeting when you put Lord Castor in his place with nothing but logic and that devastating smile. I've loved you through every debate, every decision, every moment of watching you grow into the most incredible ruler the 9 kingdoms have ever seen." Luna's breath caught. "I know the timing is terrible. I know we have a battle ahead. But I need you to know, if we survive this, if we come back, Luna, Cynthia Sunwing, will you marry me?" "Yes, of course, yes." He pulled her into his arms and they kissed for the first time. A kiss of promise, of hope, of 2 souls recognizing each other across the chaos. When they finally pulled apart, both breathless, Luna whispered, "I love you too. I've loved you for so long I can't remember when it started." "Then we have something worth fighting for, something worth surviving for," Ryu said, resting his forehead against hers. "We'll come back," Luna promised. "We'll face this darkness and we'll come back. And then we'll have the most magnificent wedding the 9 kingdoms have ever seen," he finished with a smile. They held each other as the stars began to emerge, drawing strength from their love, knowing that soon they would need every ounce of it. Tomorrow, The journey to the Obsidian Wastes would begin. Tomorrow, they would face the Shadow King. But tonight, they had this moment, this promise, this love. And it would have to be enough. Chapter 5. Into the Obsidian Wastes. The expedition left at dawn, a procession that would have been magnificent in any other circumstance. The Imperial Dragon Chariot led the formation, a breathtaking masterpiece of magic and artistry that the greatest enchanters of all 9 kingdoms had crafted. The massive vehicle resembled a palace floating through the sky, its hull forged from celestial silver that seemed to capture and refract starlight even in daylight. 9 towering spires rose from its structure, each topped with a crystalline dragon representing one of the royal families, glowing with their respective colors, 8 in gold and 1 in silver for Luna herself. The chariot's wings weren't mere sails, but living constructs of pure magical energy, manifesting as translucent dragon wings that beat with gentle power, each stroke propelling them forward at impossible speeds. Streams of rainbow light trailed behind them like aurora borealis given form. The deck was inlaid with mother of pearl and moonstone, forming intricate patterns that told the story of the 9 kingdoms' founding. At the bow stood a magnificent throne carved from a single piece of enchanted jade, where Luna sat in her full imperial regalia. The crown of creation blazed upon her brow, its light answering the magic that powered the chariot. Her 8 brothers stood in formation around her, creating a living guard of honor, their golden scales gleaming against the silver magnificence of the vessel. Ryu stood at her right hand, his emerald green scales complementing the jade throne perfectly, his ancient dragon lineage giving him natural authority over the vessel's magical systems. Their wives occupied elegant seats arranged in a semicircle behind the throne, each position marked with their family crests and precious gems. Aunt Lumen commanded the upper observation deck, her dragonfly wings catching the light as she coordinated with her fairy healers and pixie scouts who flitted about the spires. The Imperial Guard occupied strategic positions throughout the chariot, 50 of the Empire's finest warriors in gleaming armor that had been blessed by all 9 divine beasts. They stood at attention, their weapons, spears, swords, and bows, humming with protective enchantments. Behind the Imperial Dragon Chariot flew a fleet of smaller but no less impressive sky barges. 20 vessels, each carrying supplies, support staff, and additional troops. These were crafted from enchanted oak and bronze, their hulls painted in the colors of the 9 kingdoms, with magical banners streaming behind them that spelled out prayers of protection in ancient script. The entire fleet moved as one coordinated entity, held together by magical tethers of light that pulsed with synchronized energy. It was a display of power and unity that made even the clouds seem to part in respect. Darkness poured out like living oil. Noctifer emerged, a mountain of shadow with dying star eyes. At last! The child Empress thinks she can bind me. Luna stood tall. We stand together, 9 kingdoms united. Let me show you true power. The first wave struck. Noctifer's tendrils corrupted everything they touched. Soldiers screamed as eyes turned black, bodies twisted. They attacked their comrades mindlessly. Don't let the shadows touch you, King Eldrick roared. Within hours, 30 soldiers fell to corruption. By sunset, that number tripled. Week 1. The chariot became a mobile fortress, but every battle brought more corruption. We've lost 100 to corruption, Captain Darius reported. The barriers hold them, but we're running out of fighters. King Phoebus limped in, armor scorched. Phoenix forces down to 70%. Luna barely slept. She fought by day, maintained light barriers by night, using the crown, but Noctifer found ways through. Week 4. Corruption spread beyond the battlefield. Noonby villages reported civilians with blackened eyes attacking neighbors. 30% of forces corrupted, King Serpentis reported. 2 villages are completely infected. We're losing. Luna watched hundreds of corrupted beings behind magical barriers. Friends, soldiers, innocents. We can't keep this up, Aiden said quietly. Luna had no answer. Week 8. Noctifer launched his worst assault. Shadows swept over defensive lines. Dozens corrupted in minutes. Then, horror, some of Luna's sisters-in-law were caught. Yuki, Ember screamed as his wife's eyes blackened. Marina, Shenron dove toward her corrupted bride. Don't touch them, Luna shouted. It will spread. Her brothers were restrained, watching helplessly as their wives were locked away. Ember wept openly that night. How can we beat him if he takes everyone we love? Luna held her brother as he broke. Week 12. 3 months of fighting. Half of our forces were corrupted, supplies dwindling, hope fading. We can't win fighting his way, Luna said at the emergency council. Every loss makes him stronger. Then what? Queen Leonora demanded. We remind the corrupted who they really are. Luna reached out through the crown to the corrupted minds. Can you hear me? Fight! Remember who you are! Silence. Then, faint, a response. Your Majesty, help us. Can't control. They're still in there, Luna gasped. Fighting! Week 16. For a month, Luna maintained mental contact with the corrupted, keeping their true selves alive. It drained her to collapse each night, but slowly it worked. The corrupted stopped attacking. They stood frozen between Noctifer's control and their own will. What are you doing? Noctifer roared, reminding them they're stronger than you. The final battle began. Formation Celestial Unity. Her brothers moved in perfect synchronization. The 9 rulers formed positions, the warriors held lines, illusions multiplied forces, fire pushed back the darkness, water protected flanks, strategy coordinated, griffins struck from above, hippogriffs gave aerial support, earth magic sealed breaches. Luna channeled the crown through everyone, including the corrupted. What? No!
The corrupted became conduits for purifying light. Luna used Noctifer's weapon against him. But the Shadow King had one final move. Noctifer's darkness separated Luna from everyone. Alone in an absolute void, he showed her visions. Brothers dying, parents weeping, kingdoms burning, Ryu's lifeless eyes. You're not enough, the darkness whispered. You never were. Remove the crown. Die with dignity. Luna's hand trembled toward the crown, but voices broke through. Luna! Ryu's voice, desperate. Where are you? Her brothers, Luna! Champion! Sister! The rulers, Empress! Fight! The corrupted, Your Majesty, we believe in you. I am Luna Cynthia Sunwing, she said, and I am not alone. She flooded the crown with everything: love, determination, acceptance. The crown exploded with silver light. When Luna emerged, everyone rushed to her. Ryu pulled her close. I thought we'd lost you. Never! Because I finally understand this isn't my battle alone. She turned to Noctifer. Everyone! To me! They formed a massive circle. Brothers, rulers, warriors, and the corrupted fighting through control. Thousands united. I don't conquer. I connect, Luna declared. She channeled the crown through everyone. Combined strength of 9 kingdoms, thousands of souls, amplified beyond imagining. No! Impossible! Noctifer screamed. I am Luna Cynthia Sunwing, 18th champion, supported by every soul that chooses light. I seal you away! The light struck like divine judgment, but Noctifer had one last trick. As his form disintegrated, he struck at Luna with everything remaining.
If I fall, child Empress, you fall with me. The shadow spear pierced Luna's chest before anyone could react. Luna! Ryu's scream tore the sky. She fell. Ryu caught her, pressing his hands to the wound, but darkness spread from it like poison. No, 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 Chanter! Healers! Healers! Luna's brothers surrounded them. Valerius and Lilybell materialized through a communication crystal, their faces horror-stricken. It's shadow corruption, a healer sobbed. It's already in her heart. There's nothing we could do. There has to be something, Ryu roared. Luna touched his face with trembling fingers. Ryu, I'm sorry. I wanted to be your wife. Our wedding. Don't talk like that. You're going to be fine. I love you, she whispered. Always. Loved you. Ryu, please. The light left her eyes. The crown of creation fell from her brow and shattered. Luna Cynthia Sunwing, 18th champion, Silver Empress, was dead at 19. Ryu's anguished howl echoed across the battlefield. Luna opened her eyes to blinding light. She stood in an endless golden sky, feeling weightless. Am I dead? You are, a voice like thunder and bells said. Before her appeared a dragon of pure gold, scales like captured sunlight, eyes like stars. The dragon god. You died protecting your people, the dragon god said gently. You succeeded where 17 failed. You saved even the corrupted. You are a true champion. But everyone, Ryu! Come, someone wishes to meet you. The golden dragon guided her through impossible spaces. They arrived at a realm beyond description, where reality bent and creation sang. There, on a throne of light, sat the god of creation. Not dragon, not beast, but pure divinity. His presence was love and justice and infinite wisdom. Luna, Cynthia Sunwing, champion, empress, beloved daughter. Luna knelt, tears streaming. I failed, Noctiferous sealed, but I died. I left them. I left Ryu. You did not fail. You succeeded magnificently. But I offer you a choice. The god of creation raised his hand. Before Luna appeared a vision, the battlefield. Ryu is holding her body, sobbing. Her brothers are broken. Her parents aged 1,000 years in moments. The 9 kingdoms mourn. Your death will echo through history. They will honor you. Eventually, they will heal. Life will continue. Luna's heart shattered watching Ryu's grief. Or, the god continued, I can send you back. 1 year before the final battle. You will remember everything. All the mistakes, all the corruption, all of Noctifer's tricks. You will know his weakness. His weakness? The dragon god stepped forward. Noctifer's power comes from isolation and despair. He feeds on separating people from hope. But you discovered something in your final moments. True connection cannot be broken by darkness. That knowledge, carried back in time, will change everything. But there's a price, the god of creation said. If you return, you must bear the weight of these memories. You will remember dying. You will carry that trauma. And you cannot tell anyone about this divine intervention. They must choose unity freely, not because you command it. Chapter 6. Luna looked at the vision. Ryu, broken. Her family, shattered. I'll bear any weight, Luna said firmly. Send me back. Let me save them. Let me save Ryu. The god of creation smiled, sad and proud. Then I grant you this gift, Luna Cynthia Sunwing. But remember, you cannot save them. They must save themselves. You can only show them the way. I understand. The dragon god touched her forehead with one golden claw. I give you my blessing, champion. When you face Noctifer again, call upon me. I will answer. But God of Creation raised both hands. Return, Silver Empress. Return and fulfill your destiny. But remember, love freely given is the only force that can truly defeat darkness. Light consumed everything. Luna screamed and jerked awake in her bed. Luna gasped, hands clutching her chest where the shadow spear had pierced. Nothing. No wound. No corruption. She looked around wildly. Her bedroom in the palace. Early morning light. Everything familiar. A knock at the door. Your Majesty? Are you awake? The War Council meeting is in 1 hour. Luna's line raced. War Council? That meant... She ran to her desk calendar. The date confirmed it. 1 year before the final battle. The day before Ryu and Rhaegal would leave to investigate the obsidian wastes. She'd been sent back. Luna touched her face, feeling tears. She remembered everything. The 4-month battle. The corruption is spreading. Ryu was holding her as she died. His broken screams. I have 1 year, she thought. 1 year to change everything. But the god's words echoed. You cannot tell anyone. They must choose freely. Luna took a deep breath. She couldn't reveal divine intervention, but she could guide. She could prepare. She could ensure that when they face Noctifer, they'd be ready. And most importantly, she could save Ryu. At the council meeting, Luna watched everyone with new eyes. Her brothers, alive and whole, Ryu standing beside her, emerald scales gleaming, no grief in his eyes yet. Your Majesty, Lord Castor began, the grain shortage is managed, Luna said, exactly as before. But this time, she added, Lord Castor, I'm implementing a new policy. Every kingdom will maintain emergency reserves. We need redundancy in our supply chains. Castor blinked, surprised. That's actually prudent, Your Majesty. When Zephyra reported the missing patrols, Luna was ready. The obsidian wastes. Father, when did you last check the barriers? 6 months ago. The light seemed dimmer. Then we need more than reconnaissance. We need to prepare for war. Everyone stared. Your Majesty, Ryu said carefully, we don't know if there's a threat. There is, Luna said, putting conviction in her voice. I've had dreams. Divine warnings. Something ancient is waking. We need to prepare now, or we'll be overwhelmed. She saw her father's eyes narrow with concern, but he nodded. If the crown is giving you visions, we must listen. That night, Luna found Ryu on the balcony, their spot. You're worried, he said. Terrified, Luna admitted honestly. Tell me. Luna wanted to tell him everything, how he'd die protecting her. His last expression would be horror and love, how his body would be cold. But she couldn't. Divine prohibition. Instead, she said, I'm afraid I'll make the wrong choices, that people will die because of my mistakes. You're the best leader I know, Ryu said softly. Whatever's coming, we'll face it together. Luna turned to him. She remembered his proposal in the previous timeline, remembered their first kiss, remembered his grief over her body. Ryu, she said, taking his hands. I know we've been dancing around this for 2 years, But life is short. Time is precious. I need you to know. I love you. I've always loved you. Ryu's eyes widened. His face blushed crimson. Luna? You don't have to answer now, Luna continued. But when this is over, when we survive whatever's coming, I want to marry you. I want a life with you. I want everything. He pulled her close, kissing her deeply. You already have my heart, he whispered against her lips. You've had it since the day we met. They held each other under the stars, and Luna let herself cry. Because she knew, this time, they'd both survive to have that future. Chapter 8. The next year was intense. Luna used her knowledge carefully, making suggestions that seemed logical rather than prophetic. She established rotating patrol schedules to prevent exhaustion. She stockpiled medical supplies. She organized joint training exercises between all 9 kingdoms, fostering unity and friendship. This is unusual, Your Majesty, King Aldrich noted during one meeting. Such extensive preparation for a theoretical threat. The divine seals are weakening, Luna said truthfully. Better to be overprepared than caught unawares. She couldn't tell them about Noctifer's corruption specifically, but she could prepare defenses. She commissioned research into light magic. She had healers study shadow-based ailments. Your Majesty, why the sudden interest in corruption purification? A healer asked. Because darkness preys on isolation. If we understand how it works, we can counter it. Months passed. Luna grew closer to Ryu, to her family, to the allied rulers. She built bonds that would withstand Noctifer's attempts to break them. 6 months before the battle, Luna called a special council. I need everyone to share something. Your deepest fear. Your greatest vulnerability. Why? Ember asked, confused. Because darkness has no power over what we acknowledge, Luna said. If we know each other's fears, we can protect each other. No secrets, no hidden weaknesses. They were hesitant first, but one by one they opened up. It was uncomfortable, raw, but necessary. When Noctifer tried to use their fears against them, those fears would already be spoken, already shared, already robbed of power. 3 months before the battle, Luna told Ryu everything about how she felt, except the time travel. She proposed to him. They married quietly, a small ceremony with family. I wanted to wait until after the threat was gone, Ryu said. No, Luna said firmly. Life is now. Love is now. We don't wait. Ryu sensed that Luna may be hiding something from him, but chose not to press further. Her eyes gave away how terrified she was, and all he wanted was to soothe her anxiety, whatever it may be. Their wedding was simple but beautiful. Luna cried through the vows, remembering the timeline where Ryu had died without ever becoming her husband. Why the tears? He asked gently. Because I'm so grateful. For you, for this moment, for everything. When they finally traveled to the Obsidian Wastes, Luna's army was ready in ways they hadn't been before. Unity forged over a year. Fears already shared. Bonds already strengthened. The barrier shattered as expected. Noctifer emerged, a mountain of shadow. At last, the child Empress. Noctifer, first of the Shadow Kings. Ancient darkness born of pride and rejection. I know what you are. I know what you want. And I know how to stop you. Noctifer paused, surprised. How do you? It doesn't matter. What matters is this. You cannot break us. We're already united. You cannot isolate us. We've already shared our fears. You cannot corrupt us. We know ourselves too well. Bold words, Noctifer laughed. Let's test them. The battle began, but this time, everything was different. When corruption tendrils struck, light barriers blocked them, barriers Luna had commissioned specifically. When shadows tried to turn warriors against each other, the warriors had already trained together, knew each other's fighting styles, and couldn't be fooled. When Noctifer tried to isolate Luna in darkness and show her visions of failure, she laughed. "I've seen worse than your tricks," Luna said in the void. "I've seen myself die. I've seen my love broken. Your illusions have no power here." The darkness faltered. Luna called out, "Dragon God, I invoke your blessing." Golden light exploded through the shadow. The dragon god manifested, not in his realm, but here, on the battlefield. "Noctifer," the dragon god's voice was thunder, "you face not just a champion, but a champion who has died and been reborn. You face divine will itself." "Impossible," Noctifer roared. "Everyone to me," Luna commanded. They formed the circle, all 9 kingdoms, all warriors, all as one. But this time, there were no corrupted to save. This time, they were simply united from the start. Luna channeled the crown's power, amplified by the dragon god's blessing, flowing through thousands of souls who genuinely loved and trusted each other. You wanted to take the crown, but you never understood what it really is. It's not a key. It's not a weapon. It's a symbol of connection. And connection, true connection, cannot be broken by darkness. The light struck. This time, there was no last-minute counter, no shadow spear, no death. Noctifer disintegrated, screaming. New barriers erupted, brilliant gold and silver, reinforced by the dragon god's blessing and the 9 kingdoms' united will. The seal was renewed, and everyone was alive. The celebration was magnificent. Luna stood before her people, all 9 kingdoms, and raised her hands. "We did it! Together! And not one soul was lost." The cheers were deafening. That night, Ryu found Luna on their private balcony. "You were different this time, more confident, like you knew exactly what would happen." Luna looked at her husband, alive, whole, emerald scales gleaming in moonlight. "Can I tell you a secret?" "Always." "I had help. Divine help. More than we knew." "What do you mean?" "I mean that I prayed harder than I've ever prayed, and the gods answered. They gave me the wisdom I needed, the strength I needed, the faith that we would win." It was true, if not complete. Ryu pulled her close. "Whatever divine help we had, the victory was yours, Luna. Your wisdom, your love, your refusal to give up on anyone." "Our victory," Luna corrected. "Always ours." They stood together watching the kingdoms celebrate. The war was over. The 9 kingdoms had gathered for 7 days of peace, song, and gratitude. On the 8th, the celebrations took on a new meaning. Under the restored sky, where the stars shone brighter than they had in centuries, Luna Cynthia Sunwing and Ryu Blaze Arid stood once more before the people, this time not as Empress and Duke, but as 2 souls who had conquered darkness together. Their first union had been hurried, sealed in the shadow of battle. This one was different. The world itself seemed to pause to bear witness. The dragon soared above in spirals of light. Phoenixes released trails of flame that bloomed into golden petals. Every realm sent offerings, rivers of song from the merfolk, blossoms from the elves, crystal torches from the basilisks. When Luna walked down the aisle of moonlit marble wearing silver instead of gold, the crown of creation shimmered gently, no longer heavy with duty, but radiant with joy. Ryu waited in emerald and white. his dragon crest gleaming. When their eyes met, time folded upon itself. All battles, all fears, all years of restraint vanishing into a single truth. They had made it. "I marry you not as ruler to consort," Luna said softly when the vows came, "but as heart to heart, soul to soul." "And I," Ryu replied, his voice steady and full, "swear not only to stand beside you, but to walk with you, wherever the light may lead." When they kissed, the heavens themselves seemed to bless it. A comet streaked across the night, and the people of the Nine Kingdoms cheered until the stars trembled. It was said later that for one night, the crown of creation shone so brightly that even the gods smiled upon them. And for the first time in living memory, the Nine Kingdoms knew peace that felt eternal. But lately, Luna had begun having dreams again. She stood in a garden of moonlight and gold, where 7 trees grew, 6 with golden leaves and 1 with silver. The god of creation's voice echoed around her, warm and approving. "The time has come, Luna Cynthia Sunwing. The promise I showed you 3 years ago is ready to be fulfilled." "The children," Luna whispered. "Your children, conceived of divine blessing. They will be extraordinary, like you, born of love, destined for greatness." "How?" asked Luna. "What must I do?" "In your mother's garden, in the Queen's Haven, where your love first bloomed, you will find a date tree. It was planted the day you sealed Noctifer away, nourished by the excess divine power that flowed from the crown. Eat 7 dates from this tree at dawn, 7 fruits for 7 lives, and you will carry within you the next generation of hope." It came with another gift. Now that the disaster has been averted and you won the battle, you can share your burden with your husband. Luna woke with a gasp. Beside her, Ryu stirred. "Luna?" His voice was thick with sleep. "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong," she said, her hand moving to her stomach. Everything is about to be right." At dawn, Luna made her way to the Queen's Haven, Ryu following close behind. Her mother and father, sensing something significant, had joined them without being asked. They all stood in the garden where Valerius had first proposed, where generations of love had bloomed. And there, in the center of the garden, where it hadn't been before, grew a tree unlike any other. Its trunk was silver and gold intertwined, its leaves shimmered with divine light, and its fruit, 7 dates, 6 golden and 1 silver, gleamed like captured sunlight and moonlight. "It's real," Luna breathed. "The god kept his promise," Lily Bell said softly, tears in her eyes. "Oh, my moonlight." Luna approached the tree, feeling the divine power radiating from it. Each fruit pulsed with life. Not just any life, but the potential for something extraordinary. "Are you ready?" Ryu asked, taking her hand. Luna looked at him, her husband, her partner, her love, and smiled. "I've never been more ready for anything in my life." With trembling hands, she reached up and plucked the first date. It was golden, warm to the touch, and hummed with energy. She brought it to her lips and took a bite. The flavor exploded on her tongue, sweet and rich with hints of honey and sunlight and pure joy. She felt warmth spread through her body, settling in her core. One by one, she ate 6 golden dates. Each one brought a different sensation: strength, wisdom, laughter, harmony, justice, courage. And finally, she reached for the silver date. This one was cool to the touch, and when she bit into it, she tasted moonlight and starlight, compassion and gentleness, love and infinite possibility. As she swallowed the last bite, Luna felt the divine magic take hold. Her knees weakened, and Ryu caught her, lowering them both to the grass. Luna! Luna, talk to me! I'm all right, she gasped. I'm more than all right. Ryu, I can feel them. 7 heartbeats, 7 souls. Our children! Ryu's face transformed from worry to pure wonder. 7! 6 sons and 1 daughter, Luna said, tears streaming down her face. Just like Mother. Just like the prophecy. Valerius and Lilybell knelt beside them, their own tears flowing freely. History repeats, but this time there will be no tragedy. No stolen eggs, no rats demons, only love and protection. We'll make sure of it, Lilybell added fiercely. This time, we know what to watch for. This time, the family is united. Luna reached up and touched her mother's face. Thank you for everything, for showing me what it means to love without reservation, for teaching me that strength and gentleness can coexist. You learned that all on your own, my moonlight, Lilybell said gently. We just gave you the foundation. You built the rest. The news spread through the 9 kingdoms like wildfire. Empress Luna was carrying not 1, but 7 children, divinely blessed, prophesized, and already beloved by all who heard of them. Luna's 8 brothers and their wives descended upon the capital within days of the announcement. The palace became a hub of joyous chaos, as everyone wanted to help prepare for the arrival of the next generation. You're doing it wrong, Serafina said, watching Aiden attempt to assemble a dragon-sized cradle. The support beam goes there, not there. I know what I'm doing, Aiden protested. I'm the eldest. I've helped with plenty of The cradle promptly collapsed. Plenty of disasters, apparently, Ember finished, laughing so hard he had to sit down. In Luna's chambers, the sisters-in-law had taken over with military precision. All right, Yuki said, holding up a list. We need 7 cradles, 14 sets of clothes for each child. Why 14? Celeste asked. Because babies are messy, Thalia said, with the authority of someone who dealt with phoenix hatchlings. Trust me, you want extras. We need blankets enchanted to regulate temperature. Dragon children run hot. Toys that won't catch fire or shatter, Zara said practically. And books, Lyra said softly, never too early to start reading to them. Music boxes, Arya suggested. Lullabies are important. Luna watched them work, her heart overflowing with love. Your Majesty, Aunt Lumen appeared in the doorway. I've brought every fairy healer in the Dragonfly Kingdom. We're setting up a birthing chamber that would make the god of creation himself jealous. Aunt Lumen, you didn't have to. Hush, Lumen fun firmly. You're carrying 7 divine children. We're doing this properly. Now, have you thought about names? Luna smiled, her hand resting on her growing belly. Ryu and I have some ideas, but we want to meet them first. See who they are before we decide. Wise, Lumen approved, just like your mother. The months passed in a blur of preparation, anticipation, and overwhelming love from all 9 kingdoms. Gifts arrived daily. Enchanted toys from the Fox Kingdom, protective amulets from the Basilisk Kingdom, singing shells from the Mermaid Kingdom, flight feathers from the Hippogriff and Griffin Kingdoms, eternal flames, carefully contained, from the Phoenix Kingdom, armor stales from the Crocodile Kingdom, and an entire library of children's books from the Dragon Kingdom. Luna's body changed to accommodate the 7 lives growing within her. The divine blessing made the pregnancy easier than it would have been naturally, but she still grew large and uncomfortable. Ryu barely left her side, tending to her every need with devoted attention that made the palace servants sigh with envy. You're worse than father was with mother, Luna said one evening as Ryu fluffed her pillows for the 3rd time. Your father had excellent instincts, Ryu replied, kissing her forehead. How are you feeling? Like I'm carrying 7 dragon children. Luna said wryly. "They're strong already. I can feel them moving. One of them, I think the silver one, is particularly active at night." "Taking after her mother," Ryu said with a smile. "A night owl who works best under moonlight." "Or taking after her father," Luna countered, "who stays up late reading strategic texts and planning logistics." "We make quite a pair," Ryu said, settling beside her on their massive bed. "Luna, I want you to know, whatever happens during the birth, whatever you need—" "I know," Luna interrupted gently, taking his hand. "You'll be there. We'll face it together, like we face everything." But despite her calm words, Luna felt a flutter of anxiety. Her mother had nearly died giving birth. The evil queens had stolen the eggs. What if something went wrong? As if sensing her thoughts, the crown of creation, which she still wore even in her chambers, pulsed with warm, reassuring light. She was not her mother's story. She was her own. And this time, things would be different. Chapter 9. The Birth of Hope. Luna's labor began on the night of the full moon, exactly 9 months after she had eaten the divine dates. She woke to a sensation like lightning coursing through her body, not painful yet, but powerful, undeniable. Beside her, Ryu stirred immediately. "Luna?" "It's time," she said, her voice calm despite her racing heart. "Send for Aunt Lumen and the healers. Alert my parents and brothers. It's happening." Within minutes, the palace erupted into carefully orchestrated chaos. The birthing chamber, a magnificent room that had been prepared for months, came alive with activity. Fairy healers flitted about preparing enchanted waters and blessed lemons. Dragon physicians checked the equipment. Aunt Lumen directed everything with calm authority. "All right, Your Majesty," Aunt Lumen said gently, helping Luna into the prepared birthing bed. "You know what to do. You've studied this. You've prepared. Now you just need to trust your body and your babies." Luna nodded, gripping Ryu's hand as the first real contraction hit. It was intense, 7 lives demanding to enter the world, but not unbearable. "Breathe," Ryu coached, his own face pale with worry. "I'm breathing," Luna gasped. "This is me breathing." "You're doing beautifully," Lilybell said, wiping her daughter's forehead with a cool cloth. "I'm right here, Moonlight. I'm not going anywhere." The labor lasted through the night and into the dawn. Luna pushed and struggled, her divine power flowing through her to support both herself and her children. The crown blazed on her brow, lending her strength from the god of creation himself. Valerius paced outside, his worry evident despite his attempts to appear calm. Inside, Ryu never left Luna's side, whispering encouragement, supporting her through each contraction. "I can see the first one," one of the fairy healers called. "Your Majesty, one more push." Luna bore down with all her strength, and suddenly, relief. The first egg emerged, glowing with brilliant golden light. "One," Aunt Lumen announced, carefully setting the egg in a nest of enchanted silk. "6 more to go, Your Majesty." Over the next hours, one by one, the eggs came. Each time, Luna summoned strength she didn't know she had. Each time, Ryu was there, his presence an anchor in the storm. The second egg, golden, humming with peaceful energy. The third, golden, sparking with playful light. The fourth, golden, steady and strong. The fifth, golden, shimmering with curiosity. The sixth, golden, pulsing with fierce determination. And finally, as the sun reached its zenith, the 7th egg emerged. It was silver, pure, radiant silver that seemed to contain captured moonlight. It was slightly larger than its brothers, and it sang with a frequency that made every being in the room feel peace. 7, Aunt Lumen said, tears streaming down her face. "All 7, all perfect, all alive." Luna collapsed back against the pillows, utterly exhausted but triumphant. "They're here! They're really here!" Ryu pressed his forehead to hers, his own tears falling. "You did it! You're amazing! I love you so much." The eggs were arranged in a circle around Luna's bed, each one glowing with divine life. Unlike Lilybell's eggs, which had needed days to hatch, these eggs began cracking almost immediately, the divine blessing speeding their development. "They're ready," Lilybell said, with wonder. "They want to meet their parents." One by one, the eggs cracked open. From the first golden egg emerged a boy with golden scales and eyes of brilliant amber. His tiny horns gleamed, and, even as a newborn, he radiated protective strength. "Solaris," Luna whispered, the name coming to her as naturally as breathing. "Our shield." The second egg revealed another golden boy, this one with eyes like the dawn sky, his scales shimmering with peaceful light. "Aurelius," Ryu said softly, "our peacekeeper." Third came a golden boy with mischievous eyes and scales that sparkled like laughter itself. "Felix," Luna said with a smile, "our joy." Fourth, a golden boy, sturdy and solid, his eyes deep and thoughtful. "Dracon," Ryu named him, "our foundation." Fifth, a golden boy with curious eyes that seemed to absorb everything they saw. "Cyrus," Luna said, "our scholar." Sixth, a golden boy with fierce eyes and scales that rippled with barely contained energy. "Valor," Ryu decided, "our warrior." And finally, the silver egg cracked open, to reveal a daughter whose scales shimmered like liquid moonlight, whose eyes were the same green as Luna's, and whose tiny form seemed to glow from within. "Celine," both Luna and Ryu said together, "our moonlight." The babies were cleaned and swaddled by the fairy healers, then brought to Luna and Ryu. They held all 7 children, 3 in Luna's arms, 3 in Ryu's, and baby Celine nestled between them, and felt complete. "They're perfect," Luna whispered, kissing each tiny head. "All of them." "Just like their mother," Ryu said, gazing at Luna with such love it made her heart ache. Valerius and Lilybell were allowed in next, and the mighty dragon emperor wept openly at the sight of his grandchildren. "7 little warriors," Valerius said, gently touching each baby's cheek with wonder. "7 blessings, 7 lights against the darkness." "The prophecy is fulfilled," Lilybell said, her smile radiant. "But more than that, a family is complete." One by one, Luna's brothers and their wives were allowed to meet the babies. Aiden held Solaris and immediately declared him strong as the shield of dawn. Ember made Felix giggle, already at mere hours old. Kieran studied Cyrus with approval, recognizing a future scholar. Shenron hummed to Aurelius, who calmed instantly. Valerian held Valor and saw a future king. Zafira examined Dracon and nodded with respect. Elliot made silly faces at all of them, bringing smiles to even tiny faces. And Rhaegal held baby Celine with such reverence, knowing she would likely be the next Empress. The sisters-in-law cooed over the babies, each claiming to be the favorite aunt. Aunt Lumen wept happy tears, declaring this the most beautiful day of her life. And through it all, Luna watched her family, blood and chosen, surround her children with love and protection. This was what she'd fought for. This was what made the battles worth it. 7 children, born of love and divine blessing, who would grow up in a world of peace and unity, who would never know the jealousy and cruelty their grandmother had faced, who would be raised by not just parents, but by an empire of family. As night fell and the visitors finally left, Luna and Ryu lay together in their massive bed, the 7 cradles arranged around them. The babies slept peacefully, their tiny chests rising and falling in perfect rhythm. "We did it," Luna whispered. "We're only beginning," Ryu corrected gently. "Now comes the really hard part. Raising them." Luna laughed softly. "Facing the Shadow King was easier than dealing with teenage dragons?" "Infinitely easier," Ryu said solemnly, but his eyes danced with humor. Luna looked at her children, her husband, her family, and felt the crown of creation pulse with warm approval. The god had been right. She was the 18th champion not because she was perfect, but because she understood that strength came from love, from unity, from the courage to be vulnerable and still stand tall. And now she would pass that lesson to her children. The future stretched before them, bright with possibility, and Luna couldn't wait to see what came next. "The future is secure," Luna said, holding her children. 20 years later, Empress Luna stood at 42, watching the sunset over the 9 kingdoms. Silver hair touched with white, crown glowing steady. Behind her, familiar bickering. "Mother, Cyrus cheated at dragon chess." "I did not." "Both of you are disturbing father," Celine's calm voice cut through. Ryu emerged at 45, still handsome with emerald scales gleaming. "Your sons will be the death of me." "Our sons," Luna corrected, kissing his cheek. Solaris entered, 20 years old, commanding presence. "Mother, father, the anniversary ceremony is ready. Uncle Aiden says everything's prepared." "Thank you. Tell everyone dinner is in 1 hour." After Solaris left, Luna leaned into Ryu's embrace. 20 years ago, I was terrified. And now? Now I know I was never alone. I had you, our children, both families, the 9 kingdoms. "Growing old together," Ryu smiled. "Growing old together," Luna agreed, kissing him. That evening, the great hall overflowed with family. 3 generations of love. Luna stood. The hall fell silent. 20 years ago, we faced darkness. We won through unity, through love, through choosing each other day after day. She looked around at hundreds of faces. "To family! To family!" the hall thundered. Later, on a quiet balcony, Celine found her mother. "Mother, I've been having dreams." The crown pulsed. Luna's heart clenched with pride and ancient memory. "Tell me." "I stand in a garden of light. The god of creation speaks. He says one day I'll face my own trial, something that will test compassion itself." "When?" "Not for many years, but one day." Luna pulled her daughter close. "Then I'll tell you everything. About doubt and fear, about vulnerability being a strength, about never facing anything alone." "Will you tell me the whole story?" Luna smiled. "Come, let's walk in your grandmother's garden." As they strolled through the Queen's Haven, Luna told her daughter everything she could about psychological warfare, about nearly giving up, about hearing voices calling her back, about love transcending doubt. For years, that secret had been hers alone, the truth that she had died once, had met the gods, had been given a second chance. But the burden had grown too heavy. One night, 5 years ago, she'd finally told Ryu everything. How she'd died in his arms, how she'd met the gods, how she'd been sent back to save him, to save them all. He'd held her as she wept, as years of carrying that secret alone finally released. "You never had to bear that alone," he'd whispered. "Never again." A year later, at a family gathering, she told them all. Her parents, brothers, and sister-in-laws, everyone who'd fought beside her. The silence was profound. Then her mother had crossed the room and embraced her. "My brave girl, my impossible brave girl." But it was Valerius who'd shocked them all. The ancient Dragon King had stood, tears streaming down his weathered face, the first time any of them had seen him cry. His voice had broken as he spoke. "I understand," he whispered. "Luna, I understand because it happened to me too." The room had frozen. I once also died, losing your mother and all of you. The God of creation appeared to me just as he did to you. He offered me a choice to pass on or return to save my people from annihilation. Valerius's hands trembled. I chose to come back. I carried that secret for millennia. Lilibel hugged him from behind. Only my Lily knows. He kissed Lily's forehead. He crossed to Luna, taking her hands in his. But you were braver than I was. You told your family. You let them share your burden. His voice cracked. I wish I'd had that courage centuries ago. Luna had embraced him then. Two reborn souls finally understood by each other. You're not alone anymore either, she whispered. None of us is. They understood then, truly understood the weight both Luna and Valerius had carried, the price they'd paid for their people's survival. She was no longer alone with her truth. Mother, asked Celine, do you have any regrets? Luna thought of dying in Ryu's arms, of the timeline that never was, of the price she paid in memory and trauma. But then she thought of this. Her husband alive, her children real, her people safe. None, Luna said firmly. Not a single one. The crown of creation glowed steadily on her brow. Luna Cynthia Sunwing had died once as a frightened 19-year-old. She'd been reborn with divine purpose, and she built a legacy not just of victory, but of love. Chosen, nurtured, protected. Tell me more, Celine said, snuggling close. Her 6 brothers came from playing all day to hear Mother's story. Celeris, Aurelius, Felix, Dracon, Cyrus, Valor, and Celine, all waiting with great anticipation for the story. And under the stars, in the garden where so much love had begun, Luna continued her story. The Silver Empress had died. The Silver Empress had been reborn. The Silver Empress had triumphed. And the 9 kingdoms would never forget. The end. The Crown of Creation, the Silver Empress's Rebirth. A tale of death transformed into life, despair transformed into hope, and love that conquered even death itself.